everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about all the books I read in July. It's going to be a fairly short one because I only read 3 books this month and 2 of them I finished in the last week of the month. As always, we'll start off with my stats. So in July I read 1,372 pages. My average rating was 4.5 and I read 3 Own Voices books. Also this month I started using G from Book Roast's core pile method, which is her way and like a system she created of how she rates books, because I feel like I've been kind of struggling with how to rate books as of late because I'm not a book reviewer. I've never claimed to be, but I feel like lately I just kind of give everything either 4.5 stars or 3. I never really think and consider that much about the different elements of the book. I'll leave a link to G's video down below where she explains all in full, and it'll have a link to but basically core pile stands for characters, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic and enjoyment. You give each of those categories a rating out of 10, then an average is calculated and then that translates into a rating on the 5-star scale. It doesn't calculate like half-star or quarter-star ratings, which I quite frequently use, but I think you can just kind of use it as a guide, and if you feel like the book is more of like a 0.5 or 0.75 star rating, then I think that's kind of okay, as is exemplified by the first book I finished in July, which was The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth. I started reading this in June, I put it down for a moment and finally ended up finishing it this month. It's a young adult contemporary about the titular character Cameron Post, whose parents die suddenly in a car crash, and she feels secretly relieved because a few hours before she was kissing another girl. She ends up moving in with her conservative aunt and grandma. When her aunt finds out about her kissing another girl, she takes drastic action. She takes drastic measures to fix Cameron, who essentially gets sent to a conversion therapy camp, but they try to pass it off as not being that. There's not as much hype about this book these days, but it's one that has been hyped and it's been on my TBR for quite a long while. I would rate this book a low 4-star, maybe even closer to a 3.75. This book does have 2 of my least favourite elements. It's long and it's slow paced. It clocks in at almost 500 pages. I think it's like 470 to be exact. I do think that the writing is one of the biggest strengths of the book. The actual writing itself is beautiful and lovely, and it had fantastic atmosphere and intrigue. In the core pile method, those were the 2 categories that I gave like a very high rating. However, because of the slow pacedness, I do think it was so drawn out. I really think that at least 100 pages could have been removed from this book. I thought Cameron as a character was written very realistically, especially when it comes to how she explored her sexuality and all the other elements of the book, like the side characters and the plot were just okay for me really. It's a very sombre, melancholy novel. If you're looking for something happy and queer, then this book is not for you. I would also say this book isn't for you if you have experienced any type of religious trauma. Even for me, somebody who wasn't brought up in a religious household, who wasn't brought up with the ideology that homosexuality is sinful, a lot of those like elements of the book really affected me. So if that would be a trigger for you, then I probably wouldn't recommend this book for you. The author did release another book last year, which I believe is a horror novel. The author did release another book last year that I believe is more of a horror novel, and I don't read horror, so I'm not sure if I'd read it, and I fear that it would be another long and slow paced novel. I'm interested to know though if anybody has watched the movie adaptation starring Chloe Grace Moretz, and if you would recommend it if you have read the book as well and would say that it's a good adaptation. Next, I read Ace of Spades by Farida Abika Iyamide. This is a young adult dark academia thriller set at Niveus Private Academy, where an anonymous texter called Aces is exposing the secrets of the only 2 black students at the school. We have 2 main protagonists, the head girl Chimaka, who has fought her way to the top to get what she wants and she won't let anybody stand in her way. We also have Devon, who is a musician who's pretty reserved, but his private photos get leaked and he suddenly gets brought into the spotlight. I did do a video unboxing this because this is the Illumicrate debut box special edition, and I decided to go for the special edition box because it was an anticipated release. I did hear about it after I made my anticipated releases video, and I had heard from people who had read the ARC how amazing it was. I gave this book 4.5 stars. It has been pitched incredibly accurately as Gossip Girl meets Get Out. I've never watched Gossip Girl, but I know the general vibe of that TV show, but Get Out is as a film I loved. If you like either of those things, you will probably like this book, as I ended up really enjoying it and it definitely met my expectations. It's a fairly long book, it's over 400 pages, but it managed to keep me intrigued and engaged. I wanted to keep on reading to find out what would happen next and who is ruining the lives of these students. I believe that the plot is the biggest strength of the book. For characters, I can give or take really when it comes to the side characters. I liked both Chimaka and Devon for different reasons. I had the most sympathy for Devon though, as I genuinely felt anxious and sad for him. No spoilers, but things kept on getting worse and worse for him and it was heartbreaking to read. This book is also queer and unexpectedly sapphic. There's a lot of racial discourse and social class discourse too. I really appreciated and valued everything that was said. I found myself nodding in agreement a lot of the time. Overall, it's a very strong debut novel. I believe that Farida will only get better as a novelist from this. And I think her next book is going to be a thriller as well, which I'm very happy about. And then the last book I finished in July, as in I literally finished it on the last day of the month, is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This is a new adult romantic comedy. Our main protagonist is 23-year-old August Landry, who has just recently moved to New York, and she meets a girl on the subway called Jane Sue, who is displaced in time from the 1970s and is stuck on that subway train. And August basically sets out to help her figure out how she became displaced in time and get her out of the subway. I of course read Casey McQuiston's debut, Red, White and Royal Blue, last year. It was one of my favourite books of the year. So naturally I decided to pick this up and it was definitely my #1 most anticipated release of the whole year. It got so much hype pre-release too. I saw so many glowing reviews from people who read the art. It was quite hard to not compare this book to Red, White and Royal Blue, but I definitely think they are as good as each other, as I gave this book 5 stars. I think it's an excellent, well-rounded novel. It's a great mix of both character and plot. I was invested enough to find out what was going to happen, but I was also invested in the characters, both our main protagonists and side characters. They were all well fleshed out, multifaceted, a great example of the found family trope. August moves to New York, she's all alone, but she moves into an apartment with people who really welcome her and make August feel like part of something for the first time in her life. The romance as well was fantastic. The chemistry was off the chains. Personally as well, as somebody who isn't thin, I'm more curvy plus size, I really liked reading a character who had a similar body size to me. It's not a focal point of the plot compared to like other books. It's not brought to plot, but it's definitely mentioned, and August mentions about comparing her body to others. For me, it was extremely validating to read about somebody who had a similar body size to me, who was wanted, loved and valued, and not just for their body size as well, but everything about them. And yeah, I would really recommend this book. I know a couple of people who didn't like Red, White and Royal Blue who wanted to give this book a shot. I'm not sure if they would prefer this one, but if you loved Red, White and Royal Blue, if you want to read a funny, romantic, sapphic story, then this would be perfect for you. So yeah, very short wrap up this month. Hopefully the next month will be a bit better with reading. I'm basically going to be playing catch up on all the new releases that I am yet to read. I forgot to mention as well that One Last Stop completes the Buzzwordathon reading challenge prompt for July, which was to read a book with the word last in the title. Comment down below, let me know what your favourite book that you read this month was. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more of my videos. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!